What's up, guys? It's been about a year since my last upload, but I'm back here with you today with the BRZ still in one piece. And it's been about 2 years since I've had the turbo kit on the car, and we're gonna go over things to consider when turboing your daily driver. This is the Garrett dual ball bearing 48mm turbo. The number one issue I've had over the 2 years is cooling. So living in Arizona, being a hot state, it's obviously really hard to keep the car cool. The best piece of advice I can give you guys is you need to get an oil cooler. So that's these two lines right here. This is called the sandwich plate, and that leads down into here, and it's really hard to see in the dark, but there's an oil cooler right next to this intercooler. That keeps the oil temperatures low, and in a state like Arizona, that's really important to have. After having this car for 2 years, there's really been no big major issues, and I'm very thankful for it. The biggest thing probably that counts for that is I did not buy a used turbo kit. This is brand new, straight from JDL. Which is local here in Arizona, and I installed the kit myself, so I know exactly all the lines, nuts, bolts, everything was done by myself, and it really has had no major issues, even in 120-degree weather. So if you're looking to turbocharge your BRZ, I highly recommend JDL or any other brand out there that's not just used or off eBay or some random website. I highly recommend a top quality brand like this. Especially if you're gonna be daily driving your car, but there's not a lot of other issues other than cooling. Coolant does seem to leak out a little bit on these coolant lines right here under the intake manifold. You can kind of see some blue over on those hose clamps. It might be a little hard to pick up on camera, but let's see if I can get another angle. Other than that, no real issues. One other mod when it comes to turbocharged cars that I would recommend is a catch can, or sometimes referred to as an air oil separator. Those are great for keeping and maintaining a healthy engine, and those are really meant to prevent any type of excess oil droplets that could possibly build up in any reservoir of your engine. So an air oil separator would be another great thing, but a oil cooler when it comes to turbocharged cars is a must. My one suggestion to all you guys out there that do plan on turboing your car is when you do it, always check every few months these connections here on the turbo. If you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There's bolts around the turbos, you know, your mass airflow sensor. Just make sure everything's working properly. You always want to get a new oil filter. All the clamps, as I said before, make sure those are all on tightly. Your O2 sensors. This is of course a catless downpipe that came from JDL. You want to make sure your intercooler is mounted correctly. The one last thing I could say is always use the best gas you can get. Here in Arizona, we have 91 octane premium fuel. That's the best gas that I can put into this car, and that produces the best performance for the kit. When you do have the turbo on the car, make sure always at low RPMs not to give it too much gas. You don't want to overflood the engine and spool the turbo up too quickly at a low RPM. It's not really good for it. So as long as you're just taking care of it, always maintaining, keeping up on the oil, changing out that air filter, and not really pounding on the car day in and day out, you can really turbocharge your daily driver and not have any major problems. When you decide to go tune your car, because you have to after you turbo it, spend a little bit extra money and get the EcuTech tuning kit. This runs you about $900, but it's way better than any other open flash tune. That's half the price. This one, you get so many options with it. Of course, I think it's called the Crackle Tune or Pop Tune, Bangs and Pop, something like that, whatever it is. You get a bunch of options. You get real-time display. It just plugs in under here up by the pedals, and it's definitely the safer way to go when tuning your daily driver. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to share any information I have and give you any tips with the experience I've had over the 2 years of owning this car with the turbo kit on it. And let me know down in the comments. Please leave a like. Thank you. See you next time.